Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Before I begin, don't forget to join my Discord server called Look at 10 Sanger. I plan on joining weekly, so if anybody wants to fly together, we can make that happen. My Discord server is linked down in the description below. Today I'll be covering the A6M0, specifically the M2. The A6M2 began gaining its legendary reputation in September of 1940 during the Second Sino-Japanese War. It had a very deadly first appearance that the enemies clearly weren't expecting. Reportedly, 13 A6M2s escorted a formation of G3M bombers and encountered a large group of Chinese I-15 and I-16 fighters. The Zeros destroyed 27 Chinese aircraft in minutes without losing a single plane to enemy fire. The A6M2 Model 21, which is the one that I'll be covering, was the model that was involved in attacking Pearl Harbor. This plane in general has been very capable of holding its own in a fight, but in my opinion, a lot of people rely too heavily on the Zero. I've heard many people say how easy it is to fly the Zero. I agree, but not completely. The Zero is very forgiving, but it needs energy. You might have also heard people say it's not good up at high altitude, so you shouldn't climb. That right there is the best way to get yourself killed. Just because your plane doesn't perform as well up high doesn't mean you shouldn't climb at all. You need a good position if you want to win. If you don't have the altitude, you're probably not going to get very far. The Zero bleeds energy extremely quickly if you're not careful. And overall, compared to the enemies that it faces, it's really not the fastest plane in the sky. So once again, if you don't have the altitude to work with, you're probably not going to do that well. Now let's get into how to counter the Zero. The Zero, as I'm sure a lot of you know, can maneuver very well and is a great turn fighter. But it trades all of its speed, armor, and energy retention away for its maneuverability. You need to remember that speed will always kill agility if your spacing is good enough. Let me say that again, speed will always kill agility if your spacing is good enough. When I say spacing, I mean I don't want to be up close in a one-on-one dogfight with any Zero, I want to keep my distance. The Zero is only good for so long. Like I said in the beginning, it needs energy. When you're getting boom and zoomed in a Zero and you're actively turning and losing energy, that's not a good combination. Eventually, you'll just keep getting lower and lower until you run out of altitude and energy. Next thing you know, your enemy has shot you down. You also have to be very mindful of where you get hit and how many times you get hit, because this Zero's flight performance will deteriorate heavily. The A6M2 has literally no armor on it. The Zero is constructed of very light aluminum alloys, fabric, and even some wood in some places. If you know your limits and the Zero's limits, the Zero does well, but if you get yourself into a situation where you get a little greedy, it will go downhill pretty quick. Remember, the Zero isn't the fastest plane at all of its battle ratings, and your enemies most of the time will be able to outrun you. So in my opinion, if you're a very fast-paced player and like to take a lot of fights, I would highly recommend the Zero. Now let's get into some gameplay with this A6M2. Right now we're in the game and I'm with my squad mate SPD. We're just trying to climb as high as we can so we can boom and zoom some people. And yes, you heard me right, I'm going to be boom and zooming in the Zero. And like I said earlier, just because the Zero doesn't do very well up high isn't going to stop me from climbing. Now after a few minutes of climbing, unfortunately most of my team is dead. It's just going to be SPD and I that are going to have to bring this back. Right now we're just going to try to boom and zoom the highest enemies that we see, but unfortunately almost all of them just went straight head on with everybody else, so they're all pretty low. But the thing is, just because they're low doesn't mean we should dive on each one of them. You also have to think of how much spacing they have in between each other. I've only got 3 of the enemies in sight and there's still 7 people remaining. I'm really not liking that because this Zero is not going to be able to outclimb most of these guys. So if I get into trouble, I'm pretty much screwed. But thankfully I have a teammate who I know won't let me down, so we're going to try to boom and zoom this together. I see a BV-155 down below me 12 o'clock low. He's definitely going to be very powerful, so I'm going to want to take him out. And then before I dive, I'm always going to be looking around me, being aware of all my surroundings. SPD's going to try to make quick work of that BV-155 while I'm going to try to come in for this B-25. We need to try to kill as many of these guys as we can, because I know that there are 2 enemies at the airfield as well. They're all relatively close to each other, and I don't want them to get any farther. Thankfully, SPD was able to hurt that BV-155, and I was able to kill the B-25. And like I said just before, I want to try to get these guys out as quickly as possible before any other fighters come in to help. So now all we're going to do here is just boom and zoom them. I see that they have very low energy. They just took off, and they're trying to climb. They're really not going to be able to get up to us. I start to fire at the Helldiver there. He tries to drop all of his ordnance to become a little more agile. That's not going to work out, and I'm able to take him out. Notice how I'm not trying to fully commit a head-on with everybody. A head-on is just super 50-50 in this scenario. He's got pretty much no other option but to fully commit the head-on, and if you do the same, you're giving him a chance to survive, so why would you do that? If you have more altitude and more energy over the enemy, just use it. And then immediately after all those kills, I'm going to climb back up to altitude and I'm always going to look around me, being aware of all my surroundings. I'm not entirely sure where the rest of the enemies are at, and SPD's trying to get back to his airfield to repair. I'm going to do my best to escort him here. As I was escorting SPD back, I was able to spot a 109 off my left, but the thing is, I want to stay with SPD because I know that there's another 109 off my right, and SPD really can't climb. So he's pretty much helpless. I'm going to let the 109 off my left go and try to go for this guy on my right. I know he's killing ground targets, I can tell by the kill feed. As long as the 109 off my left keeps flying away, that'll be great for me. Because this other 109 off my right that's coming in for SPD right now, he's low and slow. I'm going to use that to my advantage. I'm above him, and I've got more energy, clearly. All I gotta do here is just boom and zoom the boom and zoomer. But I just gotta be careful, I'm always gonna be looking around me, being aware of all my surroundings. I cannot forget about that other 109. In reality, he's really not that far away. He's only about 5 miles away. This other 109 just doesn't even seem to care about me. Looks like he's only looking at SBD. He finally notices me, he probably heard my engine. He starts to pull straight up for some reason, and then I'm able to take him out. And then immediately after that, kill him and climb back up to altitude. I'm always going to be looking around me, being aware of all my surroundings. And then look at that, I'm able to spot an FW200. And then I look at SBD in front of me, he's going down, unfortunately his engine quit on him. Now I need to make sure that I avenge SBD. I'm going to go in towards this FW200. I just need to be really careful because this guy's got some really good gunners on him and I really don't want to get pilot sniped here. Thankfully I'm able to get a few shots in on him. He wasn't able to fire at me, which is really good. But now I have to be even more careful because I'm going to pass the backside of his aircraft. Usually the backside of the bomber is the most protected. He's definitely not doing too well. He's in a descent and he's hurt really bad. He's pretty much stalling himself out. Unfortunately my 7 mils aren't going to do very much to this bomber. I just need to make sure that I hit him in the right spots. I see that he just hit my right wing. I want to be very mindful of where I get hit in the zero because if you get hit too much or in the wrong spot, you will be going down. I'm just going to let him go. He's damaged really badly. I don't need to be wasting all my ammo on this guy. He's still hurt really bad as well. He's also not pulling up, so it leads me to believe that he probably lost all of his engines or something like that. He's still just stalling himself out going back down towards the ground. He's really not even trying to defend himself. It looks like he's definitely trying to find a spot to land on the ground. And then as I look up, I see his BF-109 friend that wants to kill me. Thankfully I'm above the BF-109 because I really wouldn't want to be below him. I'm in a zero, I'm not going to climb as well as he will, and I'm not as fast. One bad thing right now is that I only have the 7 mils, and they're probably not going to do very much damage to this guy. But that's okay because I know that if I can get behind him and stay behind him, he's pretty much going to be done. So now all I have to do is just boom and zoom the boom and zoomer. I definitely have a lot more energy than him, so it's okay to boom and zoom here. You just have to watch your spacing as well. He starts turning in towards me. I'm going to fire at him there. Unfortunately missed, but that's okay. Just like I said earlier, if I'm able to get behind him, he's pretty much done. He's never going to be able to get me off of him. I'm going to kill my power and make some maneuvers here just so I don't overshoot. Now all I have to do here is just manage my energy. He's way too slow to outrun me, and he's still too slow to make any kind of really drastic maneuvers. I'm in the ideal spot, and now I just need to make sure that I hit him in the right spot. I'm just peppering his fuselage with the 7 mils. He's going to go down pretty soon. I know he's not going to be able to take much more of this. We're coming down really close to the ground. That's not good for him, and he's got a really bad water leak. I'm going to go to the cockpit camera to get some better visibility, and then he hits the ground. And then just like that, we're able to win the game. Thank you everybody for watching, and I hope you enjoyed my video. If anybody has any suggestions on what aircraft you want me to fly next, please leave it in the comment section down below, and I'd be happy to fly that aircraft.